and welcome to episode 16 of the second season of the Jumping the Rail podcast. This is Mark Reb, coming to you live from Champaign, Illinois. Unfortunately, we are without our bearded co-host Gary Vestelio today. A little down in the back, but that's all right. He'll be back again on our next one. But we do have Minderz back with us again. Minderz, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
It's been a rough couple days, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard you had a
Yeah,
rough couple. Jeez, it's gonna
yeah.
be that type of night.
What's
Yay,
what's in that cup, Minderz?
water.
Water. I can't
Maybe
check it, so
maybe
I'm
I
gonna take
need
your
to
word
put
for it.
something else in it, but
Right? Right? Does it go back to when Marco produced this thing and put a little
no,
tequila in there
no, there is no tequila in here.
to kill you?
Hmm.
So, so we got a fun episode today, Minderz. I don't know if you know this. We haven't had a guest on in almost a year. It's been since about June last year when Camaro Jackson called in. But we
Ah,
have a
Camaro.
yeah, but we have a special guest who's joining us today because in about 3 weeks we got the Squared Circle Expo coming up in Indy. We're both going. It's gonna be fun.
I'm so excited.
And yeah, so we have our guest is actually one of the people who's in charge of it. So she's going to kind of fill us in on everything that's going on. So let's go. We're going to bring her in now. So
Okay.
say hello to hardcore Heather Owens. Heather, how's it going?
Hello. Going good. How are you guys?
I'm good.
Good.
Glad you could make it in.
Yes. I look with the time crunch and everything. I
Right.
was like, okay, I'm good. Plus, y'all are Central Time, so it
Uh-huh.
throws me off. Us Eastern people. That's why I was like 6. Wait a minute. So we good.
I always make that mistake when I'm booking guests on because most of them are on the East Coast. I
Right.
think we had Kevin Gill on the West Coast once, and I always forget to account for the time zones. But fool me once, you know. So the main reason we brought you in, just to fill in, I was at the expo last year, Square Circle in Indy,
Okay.
and my wife and I we had a blast the whole time. It was awesome,
Awesome.
and we'll be back again this year. Minderz here is going for the first time this year.
That is super exciting. Well, thank
So
you for coming back and coming for the first time. So
right on, yeah. It's like kind of the reason why I always say on this show about indie wrestling shows being more fun than like the big shows because it's you kind of have that atmosphere. You get to meet the wrestlers, you get to hang out with the fans and all that. You don't get that at the big shows.
oh yeah.
At the expo, it's that like 200-fold almost because it's just a whole hotel full of wrestling fans, which is phenomenal.
And that's the one thing that we really wanted to focus on is, both me and the husband, we both were indie workers. So we understand that aspect of it, the wrestling aspect. And then our partners, Adolfo and Carrie, they were more with the horror world. So with that convention, so we were like, let's take all the bad stuff and completely cut it. And let's just take all the good that we've learned throughout our years and put it into this convention. And, me personally, like I get super excited for it because in last year we had the New Age Outlaws, which growing up was like Road Dogg. Oh my God. So being able to like just hang out with them, 14-year-old Heather would have never thought in a million years be like, oh, just, having a beer with, the headbangers or something. It's insane to me. But yeah, that's what we wanted to do. It's just kind of, no drama. There's way too much drama in the world. So anything that we can do to just kind of just a cool hangout for everybody. That's what we're kind of aiming for.
Right. That's all anybody really wants, right? Just
Right.
no drama, just no BS, just hang out, have fun.
Exactly.
Also, not for nothing, Road Dogg, somebody was wearing one of our t-shirts at the expo last year and he popped for the name of the show, so he's aces in my book.
Nice. Yeah, he's hilarious. Like he was always on like a 13 and I'm like, this is the greatest because they always say, don't meet your heroes and stuff. Look, I've met my heroes, China, Ric Flair, Road Dogg, all amazing people. So I've been very blessed with that.
I'm excited. I was one of the ones that kind of maybe might have shut down the website for the MJF promo or photo op.
That's a good problem for us to have. So
I'm super excited about that. That's my biggest thing this year.
I'm personally scared of MJF because like I know it's a character, but he's always in. I was like, that's why I was like, Ed, you have to handle him. I don't, because you just don't know. And I was like, secretly, I'm like fragile. I was like, I can't take it.
Yeah,
Well,
don't show weakness.
We've been joking on here because I really want to take a sign that says, "Please MJF roast me." So we'll see how this goes.
What are you doing to yourself? No, don't do that.
It would make for a great podcast. Come on now.
It could. Only if I get to video it and put it on the show. But
yeah,
I got a buddy. He was, when AEW first started, he and Cody and Brandy and Tony came here because Tony's from Champaign.
Oh, okay.
So he's from our area. So they did a meet and greet outside of campus at the U of I. So my buddy took his son. I think he was, I don't know, 8 at the time. I forget how old Kyler is. But yeah, I guess he got the treatment from MJF there too. So he doesn't discriminate. If it's man, woman, child, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just can't. I'm too old, and I'm like, I don't know. But certain people, they know what they're getting themselves into, so we're like, all right. So it's a little, little disclaimer, like, look,
Yes.
MJF going to do what MJF wants to do. It's nothing to do with Squared Circle Expo.
Like we always say, MJF doing MJF things.
That's right.
Yes. That's right. But at least the people waiting in line for MJF understand what they're paying for. So
yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna go on record. Minderz, I'm daring you right now for the photo up. I'm daring you to try to touch the belt if he has it.
All
just
right.
to see what he does.
I'll try.
He might yell at you. Just telling you.
Well, here's the beauty of it. Since Bari's going with me, maybe I can get Bari to distract him, and then I can touch the belt.
There you go. Yeah, Bari's a big guy. He can distract you.
He is a big guy. So I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Well, good luck.
Yes. So Minderz is excited about MJF. I'm honestly I'm most excited for all the ECW guys you got coming in. I'm a big ECW fan from way back.
Me, yeah, so huge ECW fan.
I got to chat up Shane Douglas quite a bit last year during some downtime. I caught him at his table, and he was awesome. Just full of stories. I asked him about specific matches. He had all the info right there in his head. It's just really impressive when you think about all of the shots these guys take to the head for years on end. But yeah, so now you got some more guys coming in. You got Devon, Francine. I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I did see Stevie is out, which I understand that he's been having some issues.
Yeah, it was one of those situations that we were also following along, with his videos, and then we officially got word, the last, what was it, yesterday or the day before, and we're like, we kind of knew, everybody knew it was coming, but we still got Meanie and Nova, so
yeah. But I'm looking forward to meeting Nova. He's a friend of a friend. Our original co-host used to work for the same bank chain that Nova did, so they would chat.
So funny story is, I work for that same bank, so that's how So when I found out, it was years ago. I was on a show. He was booked. We started talking. He was like, "Oh, I left this one bank, and then I came to this other bank," and I'm like, what? So I work in Cincinnati at the main operational building, and he works in Louisville at he's like a branch manager or something like that. So then we're like instant friends,
right?
And so because I have all the old ECW action figures, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I have a Nova, but it has a lot of sun damage. And all of a sudden, like a week later, I get, like, it wasn't even mailed, but it was through the bank service, like the interim. And it was like in one of those big manila envelopes. And it was a Nova action figure. I said, that's fantastic.
That's awesome.
So fun. But yeah, he is a sweetheart. And every time he's posting something, him and his daughter are volunteering. And it's so crazy to think, like, these hardcore ECW guys, and then you meet them, and in real life, they're just super amazing. Like Rhino.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was talking to Rhino last year.
Yeah, like
from like he has a marina in
Michigan. Yeah, like to this day too. You look from afar, you're like, oh, he's scary looking, but then he starts talking, you're like, yeah, that's insane. So,
yes. So I'm going to show you this. I'm bringing this with me. This is a big ass ECW banner I got. I'm gonna The plan is to get as many of the ECW guys to sign
That's
this as I
awesome.
can. So we're gonna see how that goes.
Yes,
But
that's so cool.
I'm
so
excited too for Friday night with the Black Wrestler or Black Pro Wrestling.
Black
'Cause
Label
I
Pro.
Black
Black
Label.
Label Pro,
Yeah.
yeah, because a lot of those guys I've seen, so it's like, okay, let's do this. I want to see
Right.
this. So
Yeah, and the same thing, like there's certain, because I haven't, wrestled in years. So there's certain people like Sue Young.
Mhm.
I saw that she was booked and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen Sue in like 7 years. And I'm like, so I'm excited to see old friends. So, but yeah, that's every year since the first year, they're like, are you just going to have the one wrestling show? And we're like, we're still playing with ideas. And then it just happened to come across our plate this year. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, super excited for both of that. Now, Friday night though, starting around that time, but then after is the karaoke. So I
Mhm.
don't know. So Minderz, I know you haven't been there yet,
right.
but Mark, I know. Did you go to like karaoke or anything like that?
I was a main event pass holder, so I didn't go to the karaoke. I thought it was just for VIP. But
Oh, no, the karaoke. So there's a special VIP party, which
Mhm.
is, I think it's like an hour, maybe hour and a half. But then everything after that is like, it's, if you want to hang out and,
Nice.
have a drink with somebody. But karaoke, that's some of the most ridiculous shit you will see.
I
The
can only imagine.
collaboration of people. Yeah. The first year
Well,
we had Sammy
I'll
Guevara, there, and Tay, they were singing the Jericho the theme, and
oh jeez.
yeah.
I heard Carl Anderson got a little juiced up at the party last year. I
Yeah.
know this because I met him the day after, and he did not look well. He had the sunglasses on indoors.
Yeah. Well, that
Little
was the same
sullen.
thing with Morrison.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know how he was functioning on Saturday, but he did. I was like, he's a pro. This is not the first time he's done this.
No.
So yeah, but that's the thing too. It's not just you show up, get autographs, go home. Everything is right there. Like if you want to go take a nap, got a hotel room right there,
Yeah.
So it's like you can go rest up and you're like, now I'm going to the wrestling show. So everything is right there. Because a lot of
Yeah.
other conventions, it's like pieced out and you're just like,
Right.
oh, it's too much.
Right. So let's talk a little about all the stuff that you've got going on. You've got obviously got two shows, Friday and Saturday wrestling shows. I love the panels there last year. I didn't go to all of them, but I went to the main ones. I went to the DiBiase, ECW. We went to Mickey's panel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's talk about what you got coming up this year. I saw you guys posted a little list of events on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook today. So you've got, as far as panels go, you've got another ECW one coming up
Yes.
is it for the 30th anniversary of ECW? Was that the title of it?
Oh God, that sounds right.
Hang
Oh
on,
my
let me
God.
let me
Yeah.
bring it up
I'll,
here.
I'll look.
Look it
I'll
up.
look it up. You two talk. I'll look it up. I'm on it.
Okay.
Because you gotta there are so many spreadsheets and things like that. I'm just like, wait a minute, what's going on what day? And but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Menders, I know you and one of your buddies is going to the karaoke on Friday. I can only warn you.
We'll see.
I'm going to warn you. If my wife goes, she will be a character probably if she can get up there to sing a little bit. Because when my wife sings, there's dancing involved too, and it's marvelous.
There's no
A lot.
shy people at karaoke because
No.
by that time everybody has been having a few drinks, everybody's singing along. So I mean, and it goes to about 1, 2 in the morning, and then when it cuts off, you kind of just hang out in hallways and
Yeah. So it's not like when everything is over, you have to go up to your room and
right.
you're done.
I mean, you're still in a hotel with
yeah.
but the majority of everybody that's staying there is there for the convention.
Right. Right.
So you have a little
I think
leeway.
we're staying at the one right across.
Oh, okay.
The one real close. So
Yeah,
Yep,
and
yep.
like
The
you
wife
can
and I are actually in the hotel for the convention.
Awesome.
So
yeah, I mean the thing is too, like if you stayed, because I think there's like 3 or 4 other hotels, but all you have to do is walk across the parking lot.
Yeah.
So you might stumble, but
yeah.
it's fine.
Maybe.
More than likely.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah, the wife and I made the mistake last year. We got a hotel like 10 minutes away from the
Oh.
venue. So after that, we was like, you know what? We're just going to
Right. But it takes that
We're
one
gonna
time.
pony
Now
up the
you're
money.
like, we're good.
It is the ECW 30th anniversary
Oh
panel.
my God. I feel so old.
That's at 1 on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the bummer. I just realized this, that the one I wanted to go to was the Attitude Era Uncensored, and it starts at 2. Guess what
MJF
time
promo.
MJF is? 2.
Oh.
But that's okay. That's okay.
So the thing is, though, where the photos are, where MJF is, and then the panels, the only thing that's separating that is the hallway. So depending on how quick you are in line, you can jump back over. A lot
Yeah.
of times you can hear what's going on. So
I did Comic-Con a few years ago, there in Indianapolis, but it
Oh,
was
yeah.
downtown. So
Mhm.
yeah, we ended up not my friend and I, different friend, but my friend and I ended up not even actually going into it. We just walked around out in the hallway and got to hear everything anyway. And
Yeah.
it was so it was like, okay, this is cool,
Right.
and see everybody dressed up, and it was fun. It was a good time. So I'm excited to go to this. Mark was talking about it last year, and I'm like, these are like all the people I grew up watching too, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
And that's what we wanted, is something for everybody. So it's like we have a lot of AEW guys, but we also have ECW. We have them old, Smoky Mountain. Like we have everything.
I was trying to go through here because I think you have the Bushwhackers this year, or one of the Bushwhackers.
We have Luke.
Oh,
Yeah.
Luke, yeah.
So I'm actually kind of excited about that because he was one of my favorites when I was younger. So I'm excited to see him. And it's like I was a big WWE fan, WWF fan
Yeah.
back, late 80s is when I started watching.
Okay.
So it's like those are a lot of the guys that I grew up watching. So I'm super excited to meet all of them. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So it's like one that, like, it was kind of like a later one. It was a random one. Gangrel. I am so excited for Gangrel, like, because I was an addict. Like, I love ECW, but honestly, I've met almost all the ECW guys just from either booking them from the past or doing shows with them. But certain people like Gangrel, I've never crossed paths with, and I'm just like, I'm gonna fangirl out on the vampire. So
I was a Brood fan, so
yes,
I get it.
we got 2 of them. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, we would have loved to have Edge, but
Yeah, well, and I
He's
almost
a little busy that week.
yeah,
he's a little busy that week. But
I will say
almost
this.
got
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say aside from William Regal's "He's a Man" theme, the Brood might have my favorite entrance music in the Attitude Era.
oh my God, he's a man. Such
Just
a
for
man.
of all people, put it on Regal. It's marvelous. So you were talking about some of the older guys. My first favorite wrestler when I was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old was Tito Santana. So I was thrilled that you got him to come in because he's on my short list of guys I want to meet when we're there. And
That's awesome.
so
Tatanka. I was excited about Tatanka too.
Tatanka, yeah, the Hammer,
For some reason, I mean, God love him, but everybody lost their shit for Tatanka. We're like, yes. I'm not quite sure why, but that is
It's
ridiculous.
I would say that's another one of those that it's like you don't really think about him being a main character like back when you were growing up, but he was always there. He was on everything.
Yeah.
So
he had
it's
a
like,
Still in great shape too. Looks great.
yeah.
A few of the other ones, not so much, but
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
time is the greatest heel of them all, right?
yes. And in wrestling too, it's like, I mean, when you get pounded, when you fall down for years, that takes one toll. And then you got the ones that, the drugs and they had a good life, but they're showing it now.
Well, they had a fun life.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a good. I do have a question that I was actually crossed my mind when I saw the NWA schedule.
Mhm.
They're running a pay-per-view on the Friday, on the 7th in Chicago. So that made me wonder, and maybe you can shed some light on this. Is Cardona booked for both nights, or is he just going to be there on the Saturday?
I believe we have Cardona both.
Because he wasn't announced for any matches on the show, but I know that can change at any time.
So originally, I know that we had, I think, 2 or 3 NWA guys booked, but then we found out, they're running. So then obviously we couldn't use them anymore. Now, mind you, Chicago from Indianapolis is only like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we have Cardona, Myers, that whole like crew the entire time. But I can confirm. Let's see.
Mark, I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to go to Under the Learning Tree with Al Snow.
Hey, I've been to a couple of his panels and they are fun.
Are they?
He did
'Cause
one in
he's a lot of
Danville,
fun.
and then he did one last year. The thing that I always remember is he talked about how he supplemented his income as a magician for the blind. That always just tickled me.
Of course he did.
Yes, and we have Cardona for both days.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I met him last year, but you can't meet that guy enough. He's awesome. He's so cool.
Oh, absolutely. When you can talk to him about, everything,
Yeah.
whether it's wrestling toys.
Honestly, I was surprised because I caught him at a down moment, and he was just so down to earth about everything. He wasn't like MJF, where he'd probably heel on you.
Right, and that's the thing, though. He's very humble because he's had all of it. He's been to WWF and stuff, and it's just like this is what he enjoys. He enjoys the indies and doing his own thing.
And then look at his figures collection and all that. He's basically still a big fan, so I think he appreciates that.
Him, Brian Myers, they all. So.
Yeah, I was bummed to hear that Swoggle wasn't going to be there this year. He was a hoot.
Yeah. Oh no. And did you see you saw the wrestling show then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That match was it. I mean, because we're in the back, we're watching it on a monitor, and we're losing our shit. Like, I was like, just take it home right now. Like, I don't know. It was great.
Yeah, he and Myers are a dream team, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh, what I'm in for this year.
Yes. Yes. Be prepared. Have your walking shoes on. Have a couple drinks in hand.
Right.
So. Done. Easily enough.
Yeah.
But and just getting a little bit more into all the stuff you got to offer. You talked about the karaoke. You talked about the wrestling shows. You got the costume contest, which I checked that out last year. It was fun. The guy that was Danhausen was off-puttingly similar.
Yes, so close. Like they could have flipped each other. Like one of them could have been like, "All right, now you stand at my table and sign autographs."
Yeah, if Danhausen had to take a week or something, hey, just stand here.
I need to go to the bathroom. Can you handle this for me, please?
But yeah, no, there were some really good ones, and then there were some not so good ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, if you want to dress up, it's just fun for all ages can do it. So hopefully we have more this year.
Mark, don't you have a plan?
I thought about dusting off my my Shockmaster costume from Halloween a couple years ago and bringing it out. But the problem is the promo part of it would throw me off because I don't have a pre-recorded recording of Ole Anderson talking in a robot voice.
Right. Well, you could like record it. If you have the Shockmaster on, you have a recording of it and just kind of nobody knows. I would know.
As soon as you walk out, then you have to fall.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I'm worried if I just walk into the room with my helmet, somebody's going to just trip me for the hell of it. Just.
I mean, yeah, that's a good probability.
Yeah, it'd be Minderz. But no, there were a lot of fun. I remember there was a little kid last year dressed as IRS.
Yes, and he had this whole spiel. Like
he rehearsed this thing but then he had to do it twice because there were 2 rounds. He didn't have a second promo, so he just did the same one twice. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was very cute.
Yes. All right, I'm going to ask you just to get into the show because I was at the wrestling show last year. They had Cardona and Jake Ullman in the main event.
Yes.
Little chicanery there. So Cardona said he was coming back this year, and he has another shot in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to ask you about the whole show. Like I know it's not just guys that are in the expo that are working. Where do you find your talent for that as far out of the indies?
The majority, they're all people that me and my husband, we've worked with in the past. So, I mean, most of them, they are friends, like Haley Shadows and, Jake Ullman, like all these are Jack Vaughn. These are all people that we've known for years, like Jack Vaughn.
I'm excited for Jack Vaughn.
Dude,
I might have to bring my thigh slap t-shirt, I guess.
do it. Like people like they were, they were in our wedding, like Jake Ullman, and like so it's everybody who like, okay, so we personally we can vouch for them. So we're like, okay, who would work best with this person? So it's just years of just coming across people, and then other people. I'm trying to think. There are a few. I know some of the girls like I've never met. I've never actually seen work, but no, maybe I've seen them work like NWA, but the vendors, some of the vendors who are bringing them in, they're like, hey, I have this person. They, they want to wrestle, and we're like, all right, well, let's figure something out. So, but yeah, almost. I'm trying to think of the other indie, Carson Drake. He's a local boy. He's still very young. It's him and Nick Aldis. So that's
I just saw Nick a few weeks, about a month or so ago at another show. So that's going to be fun because that was Nick Aldis and Mike Bennett actually wrestled, and it was great. And it was Mike Bennett's first match after Jay Briscoe passed away.
Oh,
so it was a big tribute match, and
right,
tears, heart broke. It was everything. I was kind of looking to see who all was on the card because I know like Billy Starks. I know Billy Starks.
Yeah,
I know I've met Myron Reed.
So it's funny though because it's like Billy Starks. Like I know who she's at, because from the passings and friends of friends, but I don't think I've legitimately ever seen her wrestle. Just because I retired in 2019 February. So a lot of these people, like especially girls, I'm like, I was already out of the business, or they were just coming up, or so we just never crossed paths.
Keep your eye on Billy.
Oh yeah, no, I've only heard great things about her, and I know isn't she 17 or 18. Just turned 18?
Yeah, just turned 18.
That's insane. So
she's so good.
Yeah,
Madman Fulton. I'm excited to see him too. Sorry, I'm just like scrolling.
Yeah, no, hey, you got to remind me. Like it's all a blur.
Yeah, because that's Jake Ullman and Madman Fulton for Black Label Pro, so that'll be good. Wow.
Jake Something headlined the first Black Label show I went to. Was about a year and a half ago in Chicago, because they did a show the same day GCW did their War Games show.
Oh, okay.
But they did it early, so they had like Danhausen and Dan the Dad and Jake Something, and Garcia was in the main event on that show. Okay. So they put on a hell of a product. So I'm looking forward to that show very much.
Yeah, Jake Something. I actually know him from years ago up at War Wrestling in Lima, Ohio. So I mean, I worked with him for years. I personally haven't seen him in 4-5 years. So once again, another one of those Black Label guys. I'm just like, oh shit, I haven't seen them in forever.
So. Lima, Ohio. I'm going to guess Al Snow's involved in that.
In which one?
The one in Lima, Ohio.
Yeah, that's actually so they're celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. So Al actually started the training and everything.
Oh, nice.
There.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And you have a match also this during the expo on the Saturday.
Yeah.
It's sounds like it's gonna be a bit of a handful. It's what, six women in this?
Eight.
I just looked at that actually.
Well, the last 2 years I was a referee, very content. But this year, trying to piece together, we're like, we have all these people, let's put them places. And originally I think it was supposed to be like a tag, and then there was 5 girls, and then somehow there was 7, and they were like, the husband was like, I don't like odd numbers. We need one more. Will you do it? And I'm like, mother, I guess. So I guess I'm out of retirement. So.
And this is for the SCX Women's Championship.
Yes, so
right?
we have so this is the first time for the women's. So the first year we revealed the world belts. The second year we revealed the tag belts, which is
Heath and Rhino, right?
Heath and Rhino, yes.
Yeah.
and then this year is the women's.
Okay, cool.
I actually know one of these girls in here other than Heather here. And
Who's
that's
that?
Sean. Well, I don't know her, but I've seen her wrestle. Is Shauna Reed?
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
was
Shauna.
in her wedding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's another. Well, she's not local anymore, but yeah, she originally was like a local Cincinnati girl. But Haley Shadows, she's more like Indiana, Kentucky, but she's been around for forever.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited.
Then
Like
you
I
got the
said,
Hex in there.
yeah, the heck. Surprisingly, in all my years of wrestling, I had never actually worked against Allison Kay or Marty Bell.
Oh,
Though
wow.
we've been on the same shows, we just never worked. And I was like, well, shit, it took all these years and finally I'm in a match with them.
it's crazy how that works out sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot, Heather, before we let you go.
Uh-oh.
What is and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, what are you most looking forward to at this year's expo?
Oh, let's see. I mean, I personally love doing this because I love seeing all of my old friends. So a lot of these people come from all over the United States. So this is just a place for all of us just to kind of turn our brains off from reality, so to speak, and just have a great fun time. Like, am I excited about, the wrestling match? Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it, but it's more of just kind of seeing everybody, fans having the best time, having people walk up to me. They're saying, Heather, thank you so much. And I'm like, I mean, I could only do so much, but thank you guys for, making it bigger and bigger each year. Like, it's insane how big it's grown in 3 years. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't at the first one, so I can only imagine. But yeah, if last year was any indicator, this is going to be a just really fun weekend, and we can't wait for it. Yes. Well, Heather, we're coming right up on about 35 minutes. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us this time.
Yeah.
We may have to make this an annual every year before the expo. Bring you back and talk
I'm
things
totally down for that. But yeah, right. So I'll see you in less than 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah. If you see a T-shirt with this logo on it, you'll know.
Or this
when it's
one.
Us. Right. Yeah, we have 2 podcasts.
Blue hair. I just spruced up. I got some purple in there. So yeah. I may forget names, but I'd be like, yeah, like all day.
That's fine.
Yep.
Yes. Blue hair and the beard.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, and we will see you in about 3 weeks.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Okay, that was fun.
That was awesome.
I'm even more excited now.
Yeah, the expo is perennially my favorite weekend of the year now. Starting, I mean, it was last year, but still, it's going to be a lot of fun. I did get a message, by the way. I'm going to read this just to make sure you know that he's all right. But our buddy Gary sent me a text here during the show. Sorry, man, just woke up, passed out, can't sit in the uncomfortable chair either. Feel bad about this. So I told him he has nothing to apologize for.
No worries, we got this.
If you're down in the back, we can pick up the slack a little bit. But I feel inclined here, Minderz, to tease a programming note before the end of the show.
Okay.
Once I got to get my picture up on the overlay before we do it. But while we do that, let's talk a little bit about what we saw this past Monday on the Monday Night Raw. You said you watched. I did also. I had free time since I didn't have a car.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. So obviously the best part of the show was Cody and Roman. I think that's a no-brainer.
Of course.
And what did you think of Roman's promo? And this is a topic that somebody had put out on, I think, on the Cult of Cornette page, Was did Roman go too far with the AEW reference? And
I don't think he did. I really don't. I mean, I guess I feel like anything you've done in the past is something that should be fair game for a promo.
it's kind of the
When it
worst kept secret in wrestling if nobody
Yeah,
knows it by now.
right, exactly. So, I was more like I said, Roman did great. He cuts a much better promo than he used to. So, it's
Yes.
fine. But Cody's promo coming back at him, telling him
Oh
how
yeah.
he was going to be alone the day after WrestleMania, that
Yeah.
Paul was going to go back to being an advocate and Jimmy and Jay were going to leave him and Solo just couldn't follow in the footstep. I'm like,
And
damn.
and by the way, I told you this, and I think you agreed. You can see just how much Paul is loving all of this.
Oh,
Just
yes.
by looking in his eyes during Cody's part of it, he's beaming because I think he may have quite a bit to do with this angle as far as
Oh,
like
I'm sure he
helping
probably
these
does.
guys get to certain places and all that. Uh, but yeah,
Which
they're doing a phenomenal job of building this matchup. I know a lot of people were bummed that The Rock wasn't going to be there. They don't need The Rock for this.
they don't.
They're it's
For what they've built this to, that's okay. I mean, The Rock's not going to be there. Okay, that's fine. But
Next
did
year would be cool
everybody?
though. But I
Well,
think
where are they at next year?
they're in Philly next year,
They're they're Philly.
WrestleMania 40.
Okay,
But it's 40, so they'll probably get The Rock back for that one.
we'll
Uh,
see.
but I've been saying ever since that rumor got started with Rock and Roman, that's a match that doesn't need a championship.
No, it doesn't.
That'll headline one of those nights on WrestleMania regardless. So I'm kind of glad they're not doing it for the title this year at Mania.
Well, let
Uh,
me ask you this, because this is something I saw too on. I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the mini wrestling things I follow, but they were asking, what do you think will be the main event of one of the nights? Because obviously we're going to have
yeah, Roman.
Roman and Cody one night.
Roman and Cody is headlining night 2. They've already announced that. So the question is night 1. What's going
So
to
what do you
headline?
think's going to headline it? Because
So
I've heard a couple different options now.
I've heard a couple. I can tell you what I wish would headline because that's a completely different match, but that's kind of goes along with my wheelhouse. Uh, everything I've been hearing has been Charlotte and Rhea headlining night 1. It's
I
kind of
hope so, because
it's kind of been a tradition in the last few years putting the women's match on one of the main events, and I think it'll be a hell of a match. What I want, and they announced obviously the tag title match finally last night, Sami and Kevin against the Usos. I want that to open night 2
you want it to
because
open night 2.
that'll start a
Okay.
whole thread through the entire show.
Yeah, I
Because
can see that.
whether the Usos win or lose, there can be a promo in the middle of the show between Roman and the Usos, whether Roman's
Right.
blaming them for losing or Jake can hold it over his head that, hey, we won our match.
Yeah.
We did our job, now do yours, something like that. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah.
What I would love to see headline night 1 would be the Intercontinental match with Gunther and Sheamus and McIntyre. The Hospitomania,
Hospitomania.
Ooh, that might be a new T-shirt.
Oh boy, here we go again.
I'm a
But yeah,
never-ending cavalcade of T-shirt ideas.
well, like I said, I won't
That's genius.
dismiss that. See?
Bari, what is that? I need context, my friend.
Oh, he's talking about having the Usos and
Oh,
Sammy and KO start off the second night.
Yes. See, I can book. You guys talk about needing
We
bookers.
booked too, but yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I wouldn't be opposed to Gunther and Sheamus and McIntyre. I don't think
It won't be the main event, but it's I do think Charlotte and Rhea is the right call for that. I don't think it should be Asuka and Bianca. I don't think they've built that match up enough. It'll be a hell of a match, don't get me wrong.
The only
But
reason I don't think it should be Bianca and Asuka is because Rhea won the Royal Rumble.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. That should entitle you to a main event at the show. And since Cody won the Rumble, Rhea won the Rumble, so they should be headlining both nights of the show.
I completely agree.
That's always kind of bothered me when the title match doesn't headline WrestleMania.
Now, see,
I mean,
last year though, I understand.
Yeah, because last year was
Stone Cold.
well, that was night one.
You were too busy at a Fozzy concert.
I was at a Fozzy concert. We were watching it on Narge's phone the whole time, as were a good number of people at that show. We saw people looking at their phones and talking.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it bothered me when Flair and Savage went on in the middle of WrestleMania 8 and Hogan and Sid was the main event. But I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I love Macho. I love Flair. I like Sid. Not a fan of Hogan. So it's just.
Oh, I would have never guessed. You're not a fan of Hogan? Would have never guessed that. Since my sarcasm, I'm laying it on.
Sarcasm is noted. You know, he's a shady character like that other guy that we know. That we'll get into more of that tomorrow.
About that tonight.
We'll get into that tomorrow. If you want to hear all about my most recent issue in 01 USA, join us for the 01 shootout tomorrow. I'll fill you all in.
Yeah, because Mark and I right now are kind of at odds on who we like and who we don't like. So it's going to be a good time tomorrow.
It's more who's behaving and who isn't.
Right.
Some little punks like to run their mouth, and
some little punks like to mess in other people's matches. So yeah, we'll discuss this tomorrow.
Teaser. And speaking of teaser, let's get to our programming note here, Minderz, because I have the picture loaded up. Next week is supposed to be our off week. We won't be doing a show on Tuesday, as usual. But we are going to be doing a special YouTube episode on Friday, March 31st, at the usual time, 6 o'clock. JTR Mania 2. We did this last year with Narge, and I think Dwayne was on it last year. And
okay,
we're running it back this year. It's going to be you, me, and Gary. Just on the YouTube. It's not going to be on Facebook Live. It's not going to drop as a podcast. But we're going to talk about the show coming up. We're going to talk about Stand and Deliver. We're also going to talk about like old WrestleMania stuff, like some certain talking points. And it should be a lot of.
I'm going to have to pick up on all my WrestleMania knowledge before that then. So I guess I'm going to have to watch some WrestleManias.
We're not doing trivia. It's just going to be just discussions here and there.
Yeah, I know, but you're an encyclopedia and I only know bits and pieces. So I want to be able to hold my own.
I'll make sure you get the questions ahead of time so you can do your
That'd
homework.
Be great. Give me a study guide, Mark.
It's not easy being the professor. But yeah, so that'll be fun. I wanted to do it as close as we could before WrestleMania, so it made sense to do it on the Friday. I got nothing going on that night, and
other than we're playing SmackDown.
Well, that's true.
And then isn't Hall of Fame right after SmackDown?
Should we do this at 5 and go from 5 to 7?
Let's see what works with Gary's schedule and go.
I'll run it by Gary, but
yeah.
Maybe we'll have to do that so we're done in time for SmackDown and Hall of Fame and God forbid Rampage.
Since I mentioned the Hall of Fame, and I know we have ours later.
We have ours later. I got a good one this week.
Are we going to mention though the one that just got announced?
Let's talk about all. We haven't had a show since they started announcing, so let's go through the whole list. The first one they announced is Rey Mysterio. No brainer, arguably greatest luchador of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's still active, and I don't think they've inducted an active guy since Flair.
I'm only saying that if Dominic doesn't run in and beat him up while he's giving his speech, I might be a little bit upset.
Oh man,
it
has to happen.
I mean, Dom ruined Christmas. He ruined Thanksgiving. How can he not?
Right. He ruined his announcement when they announced him he's going in the Hall of Fame. He was showing up and pissing in his punch bowl.
Exactly. So if Dominic doesn't show up, I'm going to be a little upset.
Right. Unless there's like footage in the back of him like locked in a room or something, like barricaded in or something like that. So yeah, Mysterio was the first one. I know for a fact my friend Mike Nargelinas did backflips when the second guy got announced, and that was one Great Muta. Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, JTR Hall of Fame inductee.
Mm-hmm.
So he's having a banner year for Hall of Fames.
He is. Well,
Oh, they're both on the same level, right? WWE Hall of Fame, JTR Hall of Fame.
Of course they are. In our mind, they are.
In our mind, yeah, and
In
in the
our
mind
mind,
of
they
our
are.
legions of listeners and fans. But no, it's great timing. He just retired
Yeah.
this past January, February. So yeah, it makes sense. My question is who's going to induct him? I've got to. A lot of people are saying it's going to be Flair. I would kind of. I think it might be Nakamura because Nakamura wrestled him in one of his last matches over in Japan. Possibly Asuka. You never know.
That would. Here's my only problem with Nakamura or Asuka. I think I would prefer Flair just because even he would be easier to understand because
Now that's
sometimes
questionable. That's
Asuka.
questionable.
Hey, he's
Hey,
easier to
if Flair
understand
gets,
most. It depends
if
how
old
drunk
Rick
he
gets a
gets
few
before he
cocktails
gets
in him,
But you see, like Nakamura. I know you can usually understand them after you listen to it for a while, but
I'll tell
and
you who would
nothing
be a
against
good.
them.
I'll tell you who would be a good choice. Rick Steamboat.
Oh yeah,
They were both in WCW at the same time. They wrestled each other in Japan. Very articulate. I don't think
I
he.
would be happy with that.
Yeah. So it remains to be seen. I think everybody was saying Sting for obvious reasons, but Sting's in AEW. He's not.
I was gonna say Sting's not gonna come to the WWE Hall of Fame, but
Ordinarily, if Muta was getting inducted, Sting would be a no-brainer for who to put him in. But that's neither here nor there. Then just yesterday they announced Minderz, the most recent one, and I think the longest time coming outside of maybe a Cyndi Lauper for the celebrity wing, and that is Mr. Hollywood himself, Andy Kaufman, going in.
and who's gonna induct him? And if somebody else inducts him, I will be mad.
It's got to be either Jerry Lawler, Jimmy Hart, or both.
I would laugh if David Letterman did it.
Oh man, if it was Letterman, that would be awesome. But no, it's got to be Lawler though, right?
It has to be. It has to be Lawler. Although he said he really didn't like him that much, so why would we be asking him to do it? But
right. Unless you saw the movie, if you're one of the 12 people that saw Man on the Moon, you know that's not the case.
Or any of the other
documentaries or shoot shows.
Tales of the Territories.
I call them the kayfabe killers.
The kayfabe killers, yeah.
You're an aficionado of a good wrestling heel, Minderz. You have the T-shirt to prove it. You can get that on ProWrestlingTees.com/JTR, by the way. Cheap plug.
Yeah, I did wear it today, and then I changed my mind, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. But Andy Kaufman, greatest heel ever?
He's up there. He really is up there. Because, I mean, how else? All he was doing was beating up women until Lawler got hold of him. So, I mean, he was doing intergender matches before they had intergender matches. It was great.
That's true. And Cornette did not hate it.
No, he did not.
The pile driver, when Lawler gave him that pile driver, and I watched it. Of course, it was 1982. I watched it long after the fact because I was like 1 year old. But I love the story. I forget who told it. It might have been Jarrett. That he went down and they were trying to get him out of the ring, but he wouldn't leave. Like, he stayed on his back, and he's like, "Get me a stretcher." So they went stretch him out, and then he's like, "I you need to put me in an ambulance." And it's like, "We don't have an ambulance." So the ambulance costs like $250. Like, I'll pay for it. Get an ambulance. For it. So he paid for an ambulance to take him to a hospital just to keep kayfabe going. Which
and then hit in the hospital for what? There. He was in the hospital for like 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's respect right there. That's protecting the gimmick. That's right up there with the Sandman when Dreamer blinded him and he stayed in his house for a month and didn't answer his phone.
Yeah. Or what was it? Didn't Junkyard Dog do that too?
JYD did a blinding angle in Mid-South. He wound up going to another territory for a while to protect it.
Yeah, but man, I miss kayfabe.
Kayfabe is so fun.
It is fun.
You'll get a little bit of that probably from MJF at the expo, though.
I hope. Fingers are crossed on that.
You need to get that hat that he had at his rebar mitzvah, the Burberry bucket hat.
The bucket hat?
That was
I don't know.
ridiculous.
I'm afraid Buff Bagwell might try to steal it if I wear it.
No, Buff would be more into a top hat.
Oh.
That rebar mitzvah, though.
That was great. Well, wait, let's go back and finish talking about WWE, and then we'll move on.
Okay. You're keeping me from jumping off the rails, which is usually Gary's job. But
Yeah. Gary,
All
I'm
right.
trying.
All right. So what do you want to discuss from WWE here, Minderz?
The only other thing is Logan Paul and Seth Rollins.
Oh man, that's
We've
so
got
good.
to talk about it. It's too much of a crossover with both of our shows. We
Right.
got to talk a little bit about it.
Sure. Yeah. It's
First of all, why was Seth Rollins wearing Steven Tyler pajamas? Just curious.
I don't know. And he was wearing Becky's sunglasses.
Yeah.
Seth is
I don't understand Seth anymore.
he's a bit of a fashion iconoclast, I guess you'd call it. I think I'm using that word right. If my wife is listening, she'll correct me.
Yeah.
But he still dresses, talks, and acts like a heel, even though he's probably the most over baby face outside of Cody Rhodes right now and Sami Zayn.
Yeah. And it's messing with my head because
Yeah.
here's the bad part. I'm the one that's sitting here saying I kind of like Logan Paul. And Seth isn't exactly my favorite, but
right. Well, my brother has told me that he thinks what Logan is doing in WWE is nothing short of phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just the way he's such a natural. Nobody wants to like him.
No.
They want to see him get his ass kicked.
Oh wait, so he's a heel? Oh, well then that's right in my wheelhouse.
It's in your heel house.
Yeah, my heel house. But you know, I like what he's doing, and anybody that can outshine Hangman Page, I'm perfectly cool with. So
he doesn't need butterflies on his pants to do it.
Nope.
Sorry,
and when he can do the buckshot lariat better than I'm gonna call it. I can't help it. It's Hangnail Page. I listen to too much corny.
How good was that song at the end of the drive-through? The guy singing about punk. It's like an R&B slow jam.
That was
referencing the butterflies on his pants. And finally, Brian Last had to put a stop to it because it was too long.
It was. It was. Yeah.
That was
the songs at the end.
It's just classic.
Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're not.
Sometimes they're awful. Sometimes they're terrible. But it's
But can we? Okay, I'm gonna say it. The security guard that Seth Rollins jumped on.
It's our friend, the Quadfather.
I was saying, speaking of the last guest you had on the show prior to Heather, Mr. Camaro Jackson.
Yep, the Quadfather himself from 01 USA, Glory Pro Wrestling.
At least he wasn't the one that got his head landed on. He was the one that tried to catch, because he wasn't the main one underneath.
Well, if I'm diving off the top rope to the floor, if I see Camaro, I'm hoping he catches me because he probably could.
He probably could.
He's a
very
big, strong boy.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about him more tomorrow, also on the shootout. But he's got some business coming up in 01 USA that we'll get to.
We'll talk about it, tomorrow on the show. Kind of nervous how long tomorrow will go, but we'll see how that all ends up. But
yeah, that remains to be seen. So let's talk a little bit about AEW last week. I didn't watch the whole show. We went about a half hour over on our 01 podcast, so I didn't catch the beginning. I had to go back and watch the
best part of the whole show.
Yeah, they put the best thing on the beginning of the show. I had to go back and watch that later. It looks like they're finally going to pull the trigger on some sort of a four-way match with the four pillars of AEW for the title.
They have to. There's nothing else they can do. They've booked themselves into a corner.
It kind of makes the most sense. They should make it a five-way. Put Britt in there.
Put who in there?
Dr. Baker. She's one of the pillars, isn't she?
No. She's got her own angle going on.
Yeah, with the Outcasts.
Don't worry about it.
That's a clever name, the Outcasts.
Yeah, they're real.
Spray paint and out in their name. That's very original.
Wonder where they got the idea from.
From Tony. I'll tell you who they got the idea from.
Huh. Who? There you go. You got it in this week again.
I got it in. You never know. There might be more.
I'm sure there probably will be. We're talking AEW right now. So
can I tell you what bothered me the most about Dynamite last Wednesday?
What was that?
The Jade Cargill segment. Damn it, corny.
I'm so sorry. That makes me laugh a lot. Okay.
So Jade comes out and does her open challenge for a Canadian wrestler. Everybody and their brother who follows, and not
And their
him,
brother's dog, and the
right?
dog's
They
fleas,
they know
and
who's coming,
yeah,
but they bring out, and I can't remember the girl's name. I've
I
seen her a million times, but
I don't
she comes
remember.
out for a 2-minute squash with Jade, and then they bring out Taya Valkyrie, who, credit to Tony, is a good pickup for that women's division because
If they
hopefully they
use her
use her
right.
right. If
If
they
they
use
use
her
her
right.
right.
Speaking of which, I don't know what this is their first show in. Is it their first show in Canada or their first one in Winnipeg?
I think it's the first one in Winnipeg.
Okay,
No, because I don't know.
I can't keep track anymore. But why wouldn't they just make the surprise Taya coming out for a match?
I think they want to build it more, which okay, I
Because
kind of
you could,
understand, but then don't make it a big deal that she's going to fight a Canadian wrestler.
right, and have her pick a fight with Renee Moxley Good.
Yeah.
But but yeah, when the first girl came out, you could hear crickets in that crowd. They could
Yeah.
not give two shits.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared, and I feel bad for that
Yeah, I
wrestler.
feel. Yeah, and like I said, I've seen her work. I just can't remember her name for the life of me. She's not a bad wrestler.
Yeah.
They sent her out to get squashed by Jane. And, it's
There's lots of really good wrestlers that go up to AEW and then end up having to get squashed.
sure.
And I can think of two big ones off the top of my head that are huge
Please,
in New Japan right now.
please,
Max.
yeah.
Max got squashed. Ish. Heidi.
By whom? Oh, who squashed Max?
Max didn't win their match when they
That's
were on
not
Dark.
squash. That's not a
Okay.
squash.
Okay. And then Heidi lost.
hmm
And then, I mean, if you really want to get into it, then you've got Sky Blue and
Well, I know.
nah.
Oh, look at Billy Starks tomorrow. Probably going to get the same treatment from Tony Storm.
Hey, and it probably will happen, but
And I like Billy. We've talked about her a little bit with
oh
Heather.
yeah,
She's
I
hella
like
talented.
Billy. I like Bill. Well, Billy's, she was also in 01, so it's like, yeah, I like Billy.
Yeah,
I like
she's
Billy
Chicago
a lot.
girl. Sabin Gage wears her armband still when he comes to the ring. That BSB, the Billy Starks brand thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see guys in the crowd at GCW with the big banner every time she's on.
Yep.
Which I don't know if that's her relatives but that's neither here nor there. Not my business.
So like I said, maybe they shouldn't have put this. Maybe they should have saved this match for Rampage. I don't know. I don't know what to do with the women's division at AEW. Period.
You know what I say?
They
need to bring somebody in to run it, not Kenny Omega, because I think he was the one that was running it from the beginning. That's why Riho was the champion.
Doilies. Sorry, go ahead.
But the guy I would have them bring in, and I would throw the checkbook at him, is Fit Finlay.
Oh, that would be good.
Because he is the man that saved the women's division in WWE.
Yeah.
By taking them over and working with the girls, booking their. I don't know if he was booking their matches. I know he wasn't booking the finishes, but I think he was helping them with their matches and everything, and he made them better than what they were. Like getting away from the whole bra and panties bullshit, showing your cans.
Yeah.
And then because then you got your Baileys and your Biancas and your not Bianca but Charlotte and now Sasha and all them out of that.
Sasha, Natalia, all those, all the ones that, in my opinion, really pave the way to what we see now.
Yeah. And think what he could do. And I know Dustin helps out with the women a little bit here and there, namely Thunder Rosa. But imagine what Finlay could do with a Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Somebody who's as green as she is. Just to help.
Wasn't Jade working with Danielson?
I think so for a bit. I don't know if she still is. But, I mean, there is improvement there. She's getting better.
She has gotten better.
But she's only been in the business, 2 years?
Well,
2.5 years,
AEW's
give or
been
take.
in what, 3
AEW's
years?
been on for
So
4 years,
4 years.
3.5 years, and I think she's been there for 2 of them,
Yeah.
give or take. But then you got even the outcasts. The Paige is riddled with ring rust right now because she hasn't worked a match in 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
Ruby's okay, but her timing is off
Yeah.
always.
Always.
I'm sure she's a nice girl, but her timing is awful.
Yeah. And even the thing is too, they need to have people they can work with. And I wonder
Yes.
if her timing would be better if the people she was working with, I don't mean they need to be more trained, but I think they need more in-ring work.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Minderz, because that brings me to my next thing. They have started running house shows
Good.
in AEW. WWE still has always done them here and there, but AEW has finally pulled the trigger on running some live events that aren't televised, and something went viral this weekend, which was a match Anna Jay had with Britt Baker, which you could see not a good match. Just the timing was off. But everybody, and this is what I don't agree with, people are raking Anna Jay off or across the coals for being bad. This is what house shows are for.
Right.
She's getting ring time and she's working with people. And hopefully, if she keeps doing these live events when she goes to TV next, she'll polish up a little bit. She'll be able to, if she's working house shows with Britt for 2 weeks, then she wrestles Britt on TV, it's going to be better because they're going to have their timing. They're going to, as long as they're putting the work in, and I don't know how Britt wouldn't put the work in.
That's how they did it back when we first started wrestling. It was house shows. That's how they do the territories. You have to get in the ring and do the work.
They booked
To get
television
better.
to sell tickets to house shows
Right, exactly.
back in the day. But yeah, and then that was the thing. It's like you said, they would work like when Brock Lesnar was coming, before he ever debuted on television, he wrestled Lance Storm for like 3 or 4 weeks on the
Mhm.
house show loop just to get ring time with like that caliber of talent, not just OVW guys. And then when he came up, he was a beast, to borrow a phrase from Paulie.
But of course, it's like they always say, practice doesn't make it perfect, but it does give you progression. So
my dad always said, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
oh
He's
my
a bit
goodness.
of a perfectionist sometimes.
Yeah, I can tell.
But yeah, that's basically what it is. That's where the PC is so valuable for these developmental guys in WWE. Even if there's not a crowd there, they have a ring they can roll around in every day and work
Yeah.
in. And they've got all these coaches. Robbie Brookside. I mean, come on. You got Robbie Brookside as one of your coaches. How good is that? Sarah Del Rey's down there. Steve Carino.
Why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
Right. Exactly.
If that's what you want to do, why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
Exactly. So they've got this, and I just feel like AEW, they've got AA, they got Malenko, they got BJ Whitmer, Jerry Lynn. I don't know how much these talents are using these guys to their full usefulness. And also, to be fair, I don't know how useful Dean would be in the ring with these guys every day. But at least he would be there to offer advice and
Right.
like watch tape, sit down and watch a match
and then I
with them.
about messed up and said and help them build a character, but then I remembered we were talking about Dean Malenko.
Now, hey, you can't tell me that ladies' man gimmick didn't go over like gangbusters in WWF.
Lead balloon. That's how it went over, but okay.
But Dean is one of my favorite wrestlers, though.
No, he is a great wrestler. I'm
Yes.
taking nothing away from his
number one in the PWI 500 in 1997, by the way.
No.
Which unheard of, because look who all was rolling
Yeah.
in 97. Hitman, Michaels, Hogan, Hogan
Yeah.
was the world champion, but Taz, all these guys, and Malenko, without winning a world championship, was number one on their PWI 500 that year.
Like I said, I'm not taking anything away from his wrestling abilities.
No.
It was just he needed a manager.
Yeah. The best work he ever did was with Jericho in WCW. Yeah. Jericho was basically just making fun of him the whole time. Stinko Malenko.
The 1,000 moves of Malenko.
Man of 1,004 holds.
Yeah. Armbar.
I wonder if he still has that giant thing of dot matrix printer paper in his house somewhere, like in just for posterity.
He might. Who
He
knows?
he may, you never know. All right,
All
so
right, let's get back on the back on track.
okay. Hey, there really wasn't a track there.
No,
We were talking about Dean Malenko. He does work for AEW. We were talking about AEW. We're
there
good.
you go. We're good.
All right. Let me think. What else? There's not a whole lot.
Okay, what
Oh,
did you think of? As much as I hate to bring it up, Moxley and um,
Claudio.
there you go. Thank you. And
Uh,
the whole Blackpool Combat Club. Not. I feel like them. And why are they going against the Dark Order?
but
I
just
don't.
just to keep going with Hangman. I'm hoping that
Why?
changes now. I'm hoping that changes now because it seems like they're teasing an elite reunion with Paige going back with Twinkle Toes and the Buckaroos.
That's then do it. I'm
They should.
done. I'm so over
They.
it.
I never bought Paige with the Dark Order.
No.
After Brody passed, I finished checked out on the Dark Order. I am glad that Stu Grayson's back.
Yes.
I'm
I
a
am.
big fan of Stu Grayson. I love him and Nuno as a tag team, but they don't need the Dark Order to do it.
No. I well, but they I haven't decided because I don't even know where the tag team division's going right now. Just watching all of it is
It's going in a circle.
yeah, it is, and it's terrible. You can only do it so many times.
They're building to the Guns and FTR,
Okay.
but after that, I don't know what's
What?
next because
Yeah, what do
I mean
you do?
the Bucks are doing the trios thing with Omega. Uh, you could put Malachi and Brody in the tag team division because they're tag team champs in PWG. They're a tag team.
Right, right. But that's what I'm saying though. Everything is a 3-man group. Everything anymore.
Tony
And
loves his factions.
yeah.
It's a kind of a crush. He loves factions as much as he likes turning out the lights when somebody debuts.
Okay, that got me. Sorry. Hold on.
Which he did, I think, 2 or 3 times on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I just I can only hand like I do. I try to sit and watch AEW, but then you start watching it after a while, and I'm just like, well, this is gonna happen. Well, this is gonna happen. And then sometimes it changes, and I'm like, huh? That doesn't even make any sense, Tony.
no. I think the Blackpool Combat Club needs a new name since there's no Regal anymore.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't know what the name would be because, I don't know if we call it the.
I'm worried because because this is a thing with they're trying to push the whole thing with Moxley and Paige still. It's like, why?
They had the blow off. They did the
You
dog collar
had your
match.
blow off match. Why are we still watching this?
Yeah, they should be moving on. Maybe have Moxley, Yuta, and Claudio go for the trios championship, possibly. I know Moxley or Claudio and Yuta are doing the Ring of Honor thing right now. They're
I was gonna
two
say
of the
they've got Ring
champions
of
there.
Honor stuff, so it's like
Moxley could use. Moxley never did get his vacation, did he?
no, he could be taking his vacation right about now.
Right.
But I don't know. I used to like Moxley. I'm torn on Moxley anymore.
I like Moxley, but I just don't agree with what he's doing right now. And it's easy to sunk an old fuddy duddy say, "Oh, he's bleeding too much." He's bleeding too much.
He is. It's not special anymore.
No.
And if you're good, in my opinion, if you're going to use color, you got to use color when it counts.
That's right. You use blood to build a story. That's just to pop a crowd for a TV.
And that's the problem. They do it on TV. It's not just a pay-per-view thing. If you're going to do big stuff like that, you put it on a pay-per-view. That way you're making money because people want to see it happen.
If I was a wrestler, I would challenge Moxley to a first blood match every time.
So you'd win every time?
Flick him in the forehead. And then he'd start bleeding.
Oh, Barry has a good point. Max has gotten comfortable in his spot.
Yes, he has.
Maybe a little too comfortable at times.
Yeah. Well, there's no credible challengers anymore for him.
That's right.
Danielson
Hold
took a
on, I
walk,
said that
taking
wrong.
a
That
break.
says Mox.
Oh,
He's talking about Mox.
you said. Oh, you can't tell an A from an O.
My glasses are shining. Sorry.
I got you. Oh no, you're all good. But I do think he's kind of getting complacent, like a satisfied house cat,
Yeah.
which I know a thing or two. But
I was gonna say, where's yours at? Is yours there?
the Noodles was over here bugging me during the interview, but she's gone away. I think she went to go find a hidey hole.
But yeah,
Shout out
Mox.
to the kayfabe kitty Noodles Redman.
Yeah, but yeah, Mox has gotten very complacent where he's at, and and this is the thing. Tony's not going to change anything because he
No,
thinks
because he's a Pee Wee soccer coach. He just wants his little troopers to be happy.
Everybody gets a trophy.
That's why he's got so many belts.
Right. Okay. Speaking of belts, what did you think of the Wardlow Hobbs angle with QT? Does anybody care about QT?
No. I'll tell you who doesn't. It's the great Brian Last.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yes. But no, it's I like Hobbs as the TNT champion. He deserves it. He's busting his ass. I get wanting to have a mouthpiece for him. I just don't know that QT's the right guy.
If that's the case, then let Hobbs build it himself, then have QT come out afterwards. But let Hobbs, yeah.
And Hobbs can talk. He can cut a promo.
He can.
But if they feel the need to give him a manager, I don't know that QT's the right guy. Put him with Mark Sterling.
No.
Mark Sterling is the best manager they got right now.
You think?
Well, who else is there? Unless I'm missing somebody.
Stokely.
Stokely's all right. He's kind of getting a little cartoony for me. I'm very fond of Stokely, but
if you would put Stokely with somebody else than who he's with, and don't get me wrong, I get the Jarrett and all that.
He's dressed like a guy masquerading as a Black Panther and giggling the whole time.
Right. He needs a change of scenery. And to get rid of some, never mind.
Sanjay, actually, I will give you Sanjay. He's not an active wrestler anymore, so he's technically a manager.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of Satnam Singh's handler.
Yep.
It's like, you ever see that movie My Giant with Billy Crystal and George Mirasan?
I think I have, actually. Yeah.
George Mirasan was a basketball player for the Wizards, or the Bullets back then. 7'7", Yugoslavian, Eastern European. And Billy Crystal wrote a movie where it was like a buddy movie where they were buddies. That's what Sanjay and Satnam Singh remind me of.
I don't know. Okay. Sorry, Zippy the Pinhead annoys me. I'm just going to leave it.
Now, for those of our listeners that don't listen to the Jim Cornette podcast,
don't listen to the Jim Cornette.
Who was Zippy the Pinhead for those that don't listen to Corny?
Sanjay, right?
Okay.
Right, I did. Yeah, Satnam. Yeah, Sanjay. Yeah. I can't help it. I never got those names right, so Corny's names it is. But just makes it easier for me. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I think he reminds me too much of the great
Gazoo?
No. It's not the great. Yes, there you go. Kali.
I imagine you're talking about Satnam, not Sanjay.
Yeah, Satnam. Sorry, Satnam.
Sanjay doesn't remind you of the great Kali.
No, Satnam. That's the one. He actually calls Sanjay Sanjay. That's the reason Corny does. So that's the reason at first I was like, wait.
Corny likes Sanjay.
He does. He doesn't like.
He likes Lethal. He doesn't like Satnam.
No, that's Zippy the Pinhead. Let's move on. Oh goodness.
So, since we talked about Sanjay, the Orange Cassidy Jeff Jarrett match from Dynamite. Every week I'm just hoping that Orange drops the title to somebody. Last week it was Lethal, or the previous week was Lethal. Last week it was Jarrett. And I thought they were going to do it. They pulled out the Golden Globe spot.
I was hoping.
I don't know. I'm just kind of over Orange at this point. You got
I've been
the
over
best thing
Orange
about him
for
is
a
his music.
while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been over Orange for a while, so
I do like the change to the International Championship. That's a better name than the All Atlantic Championship.
yeah, very much so. But yet again, it's another belt. Do we really need more belts?
No, because let's think about this. AEW, they've got the World Title, TNT, TBS, Women's Title, Tag Team, 6-man, All Atlantic. That's 7 if you don't count the FTW Championship, which I
Right.
don't.
Well, and
So,
that's if you don't count the ROH stuff too.
well, no, that's the thing. ROH, they've got World Title, TV, Pure Championship, Tag Team, and Women's. That's 5.
Yeah.
So between Tony's holdings, he has 12 championships.
And he says he
That,
has more that he wants to do.
yeah, he's getting carried away with the whole create a belt thing in the WWE 2K, probably. He's coming up with them, and then it's like, I'm going to put it on the show.
Yeah.
But,
Yay.
yeah. He's going to buy ECW just so he can bring back those belts, too.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I
Tony.
don't know. Tony.
I believe you mean...
Yeah, that one.
He's
Yeah.
actually my least favorite con in the wrestling business, which is saying something.
That is saying a lot. All right, so we have what the big ordeal with Omega and Jericho being in the ring at the same time in Winnipeg, and I didn't care. Sorry, I didn't care.
They keep saying Omega says he's the greatest wrestler in the history of Winnipeg. Jericho says he's the greatest wrestler in the history of Winnipeg. They're both playing catch up because Roddy fucking Piper is the greatest wrestler in the history of Winnipeg.
I agree. Let's go with that.
They're just playing for second place, if you ask me. The thing I took away from the 6-man match last week is Malachi is too good to be in the trios division. He needs to be. I say him as a babyface with Max would just be phenomenal. Because
Yeah.
you can imagine the promos Max will cut on Malachi.
Oh yeah.
and the promos Malachi will cut on Max too, for that record.
Right. Well, and I'd really Buddy Matthews, if they would change his name,
Buddy.
he could be.
I love Buddy.
He could be something super special because he's really good. He is
So
really good. They just need to change his name from Buddy.
Or get him out of the House of Black.
Yeah. Well, but I'm afraid
you can have a Buddy in the House of Black.
I'm afraid if he gets out of the House of Black, though, he's going to get forgotten because
They'll
we
put him
are
in the
talking
firm.
about Tony Khan.
They'll
Yeah,
put him in the firm.
exactly. Or
with Big Bill.
Or
Big
whatever
Bill
happened
and Medium
to,
Buddy.
or whatever happened to the factory. You know, it's like
that got disbanded. That didn't get lost. They just did away with that so QT could go with Hobbs. For our listeners, Minderz is chuckling disheartedly about the
huge eye roll.
huge eye roll. Yeah,
just exasperated with it.
You may have heard of Giddy Mindy. This is Cringy Mindy.
This is cringy Mindy. I still can't say it.
Mingy.
I always call it Mingy. Anyway, moving on. Was there anything else that kind of happened?
Nothing that springs to mind. Jake Hager looked like a
dork,
a beachcomber from the Home with his purple hat and his romper. I don't know what they're doing with that guy.
Can we please get Billy Starks as far away from Jericho as humanly possible?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I think talking about AEW is depressing you, Minderz, so let's move on.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's move on to wrestling I enjoy.
All right, let's talk about the JTR Hall of Fame here. still bothers me that I didn't get all the black out of that A on fame at the end on the graphic. I guess
I'm
I'm a
interested to see
perfectionist
who
also.
you pick this week,
All
Mark.
right. The JTR Hall of Fame, and hopefully this continues the Muda tradition and we can get this guy into the WWE Hall of Fame also because he is, I would argue, maybe one of the most overdue people to go in.
Okay.
All right. I can tell I got you on the edge of your seat.
You
Everybody
do.
at home. Are
I'm
you ready?
intrigued. I'm intrigued.
All right.
Yes. The model.
Rick Martel, even before he was the model, but
Oh, I know, but that's
how
how I
good,
remember him.
how good was Rick Martel?
One of my favorite heels.
Yes,
He was
and
one of my
also
favorite
a
heels.
tremendous baby face too.
Yeah.
The most prancingest, hand clappingest baby face I think I ever saw. I got
That's right.
so
I have to
excited.
let me remember him in Strike Force. Okay, now I'm
Oh,
good. I got it.
I got you.
There you go.
Or if you want to see them after a shower, there you go.
Oh, the hairstyles in the 80s.
So,
Gotta love it.
so Rick, I didn't watch him. Obviously, I wasn't alive yet at this point when he was one of the tag champs with Tony Gurria, and this is like '79, I want to say, maybe '81. He was just a plucky baby face from Montreal there,
Yeah.
and so he was not getting a whole lot. He was just sorry, Cocoa Beach is proud. Darn right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was just like a white meat baby face back in the late '70s, early '80s. And then he really got his break in the AWA though. There you see there he was the world champion
Yeah.
after the Hogan debacle of 1983. He won the belt and held it for a good while, and then dropped it to Stan Hansen, who then ran over it with his truck when
Yeah.
they wanted him to send it back.
Yeah.
That's the old AWA inmate belt, which is classic for belt collectors. It's one that's actually made in a prison.
You don't have it?
I don't have it. No, I don't have a lot of belts. I've only got a handful. And whenever I get one, I get eye rolled by the wife because more belts. That doesn't stop me from getting more belts, mind you. But
Well, no, of course. Well, it's
no,
kind of
no.
like whenever I say I'm getting another door, but
Right. Same question. Where are you going to put them all?
Well, you're seeing them right now, so
You need to reassemble it and then just replace the actual door behind you with that door.
no, it's too
No.
big.
Okay.
It's too big.
You've
And
already
it would
measured?
have a huge crack in it.
That's true.
So,
So back to Rick Martel, Minders.
yes.
So he had his run in the AWA. I think he wrestled Flair in some like champion versus champion matches on some live events,
Okay.
like when they would co-run shows there. Then he came back, and where I first became aware of Rick Martel was about 1986, 1987, the Can-Am Connection, right
Yeah.
there with Tom Zink.
I vaguely remember the Can-Am Connection.
They
Vaguely.
weren't there very long because I think Z-Man wanted more money, so they let him go. And that is when we got
That
Strike
happened.
Force.
I loved Strike Force.
Now, you heard me earlier talk about my affection for Tito Santana. This was a big deal to me because this was actually they won the belts from the Hart Foundation on Superstars. So it aired on a Sunday afternoon on Channel 27 on the Fox network. This was the first title change I ever saw on TV when they beat the Hart Foundation, and I was all for it. I was jumping up and down. It was awesome because I dug Strike Force. I was a
Yep.
fan of the lightning bolts. You see the red lightning bolt?
Yep.
I made my grandma make me a shirt with red lightning bolts on it. Which is completely true.
I remember I'd went to a live event and it was up at U of I back when it was still Assembly Hall.
It'll always be Assembly Hall to me.
Yeah, me too. And they had like the catalog where you could order the shirts or whatever that they handed out for you.
Oh yes,
and
I love the pictures.
I went through and I circled everything I wanted, and of course, Strike Force was one of them because, they were
was the purple Macho Man shirt one of them?
I don't think it was. Yeah, Was it the purple? See, I was an Ultimate Warrior fan, so yeah, I
Minderz.
didn't know what good wrestling was when I was
You
that
saw
old.
bright
Okay,
colors and muscles.
saw pretty colors and muscles. Okay, and yeah, that was and craziness. I think the craziness is what actually
That's
got me
called
to like.
cocaine.
I know. Well, I know that now. When I was 7 and 8, I did not realize that then.
It was a simpler time back then.
Yeah, I wasn't as smart as I am now.
We didn't know his heart was going to explode from
Right.
cocaine use and steroids and all that.
Yeah.
That's we learned that in our more jaded years.
Yeah.
But again, flown off the topic. Back to Martel.
Yeah. Big
So-
hand clap for Martel. I'm
Yes.
excited. That's a good choice there, Mark.
Yes, look at that.
No.
This is the night he turned heel on Tito. Actually, the first time I noticed his French Canadian accent was when he cut this promo.
Oh
I
yeah.
just thought he was another American. I didn't get what Can-Am Connection meant. I didn't know it was Canadian American. I just thought it was a catchy name. But some things just flew over my head sometimes.
Okay, that tickled me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that one tickled me. That's funny.
The,
Oh goodness.
But this led to, I think, his greatest run in his whole career, Minderz. Starting with the Doctor of Style, the Slickster.
Slick. Yeah.
And that was when he was just Rick Martel. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was just Rick Martel then. He
Yeah.
he hadn't gotten a hold of his arrogance, the sense of arrogance yet. There you go.
Look at that. Look at that guy. The hair.
Look at that
the
guy.
Sunglasses. Look at the tan.
Mm-hmm.
No, Canadians don't tan that well.
No, not at all.
What?
But it said not at all. They don't.
The wife says yes, they do.
Oh, okay.
She's heckling me from behind the curtain here.
Yeah, that's the Rick Martel
Yes.
that I fell in love with as a heel. That one. Yep, that one. Yep.
Did you want the button?
No, I was always scared. Dad was a big face person, so Dad always liked the good guys. So it was like if I liked the bad guys, I wasn't as cool as Dad was.
Oh.
And Dad
So
had
you
all
had
the
to
money.
you had to hide the love for Rick Martel deep
I
down in the cockles of
did.
your heart.
I did, and now I can let it all out, and it's great.
That's right. So this run led to one of my, and this might come up in the top 10 on next Friday's show, one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time, Minderz, and I think you know where I'm going with this.
Probably, yeah.
The blindfold match.
So bad.
This was a freaking masterpiece by Rick Martel. I just watched this back again last week. It is, I know it takes two guys to have a great match, but Rick Martel was just superlative in this match.
This match was terrible.
This match should have won an Emmy for comedic performance by a French Canadian.
Okay, comedic performance, I will give you that.
He shot Jake into the buckles and bent down for a backdrop, and Jake ran around him.
Yeah.
And he just stood there for like a good 6 seconds, like bent over.
Where'd he go?
Then he body slams him and like winds up for a big elbow drop when Jake had rolled out of the way like 3 seconds before, and he just dropped an elbow on the mat.
Yeah.
The chair on the ring post. I mean, I could go on about this.
Yeah, it's so.
This is a masterpiece.
Yeah, okay, you keep believing that, Mark.
Uh-huh. And then there's about a year later, my other favorite Rick Martel match, SummerSlam '92. Look at that guy.
The outfits.
As he said during the show, "Eat your heart out, Andre Agassi."
No kidding. So funny. Oh,
this was the match he had. This is the match he had with Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Where neither man could hit each other in the face.
Mm-hmm.
As agreed.
Yeah.
And they were fighting conceivably over Sherry, because Sherry was kind of smitten with both of them. And if you're a tennis fan, you'll get this joke that Bobby said. He said, at the end of this match, somebody is going to be broken at love. Which, chef's kiss to Bobby the Brain for that. For that
joke. Oh, hey, Bobby had the best one-liners anyway.
He did. I wish that Peacock would have all the episodes of the Bobby Heenan show. Remember that was on after primetime? It was like his talk show.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen clips. I never saw it because I didn't have USA back then. It was only on for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to find episodes of that and just glory in the genius that is Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Right.
So
Well, major applause to Rick Martel.
yes, and well, we're not forgetting his last run,
No?
WCW. Look at that,
Yeah.
the leather tights with the
Yeah.
snakeskin belt, and
Eh.
if you think he was just there to look pretty, he
Yeah,
was the TV champion for a
all
bit,
right. Wow.
and that was his last like significant run in the business before he retired. I think he broke his leg, so then he retired.
Yeah.
Enough for however you say that in French. But yeah, Mazel Tov, I say to the great Rick Martel, our latest inductee into the JTR Hall of Fame. Hopefully, a soon to be inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame also.
Yes.
So
He's very deserving.
yes, also a member of the greatest Survivor Series team ever, the Visionaries, 1990. Not a
Yep.
member eliminated. They shut out the Vipers.
Yep.
So
Gosh. Such good
classic.
matches. Why
Yes.
were all the good matches forever and a half ago? Oh yeah, that's
Because
right. There was no pun.
nobody tried to hang on. Nobody tried to do backflips back in the day
Right.
until all right. Let's move on, Minders, shall we?
Let's do that.
Because where there's a Hall of Fame, there has to be this. It is Tuesday, which means it's time for Top 10 Tuesday. And
I did not do my homework this time, so I don't
I
have a
told you
list.
what we were doing, so
I know.
it's on you. Here we go. Top 10 Tuesday. Our topic this week, and I'm sure you'll agree with most of these, Minders. Worst WCW gimmicks from 1990 to 92.
Yeah, okay, you gave me 2 years. Actually, I think you told me 89 to
Three.
92.
3 years, by the way, but I took out 89 because I wound up taking the Black Scorpion off of this.
Ah, okay.
So Black Scorpion is not on this list. Now, some of these guys are great wrestlers, but their gimmicks were awful. And
Yeah.
I'm using great somewhat loosely here. They're guys we enjoyed. I'll say that
Okay.
may be better. But we're going to start here. Number 10. A mythical warrior from the Emerald
Oh,
City.
jeez.
You got Oz at number 10.
Oh.
I love Kevin Nash, but
Nash,
come on.
what were you doing, bud?
He dyed his hair gray back then, as opposed to now, where it's just naturally
Now it's
so.
just natural.
Yeah, natural.
Yeah.
Came out with the Wizard, who was Kevin Sullivan in a mask with a monkey. So I understand he killed the monkey on accident.
Oh.
Because
Well,
the monkey was on a leash on his shoulder and it jumped off and it was swinging around. It's very gruesome to think about. That only,
it kind of is.
yeah. But yeah,
Whole
so
new
this,
meaning to flying monkey, but all right.
yeah, I don't think it was meant to be a flying monkey. Yeah, this gimmick only lasted for a bit and then it evolved. And poor Kevin Nash, he went through a parade of bad gimmicks in his early run. He was the Master Blaster in the tag team before Oz. He came back as Oz, then he went away, came back as Vinny Vegas with DDP.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that
and
was
that's
bad.
when Shawn Michaels saw him on TV and convinced Vince to hire him.
Come on.
Made him Diesel. Like, this guy needs a break.
Let's fix this, please. Wow.
But yeah, I loved Diesel. I loved his NWO run. But this was just the shits.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Sorry. Hey, Vinny was a talker. The accent was splendid on Vinny Vegas. All right. Number 9. That's Big Josh. The picture's
you
cut
might
out.
have hit one I don't remember.
This you can't see the bears very well. He would sometimes walk to the ring with 2 bears. Matt Bourne, Minderz. The original Doink the Clown.
Wow.
But before he was Doink, he was Big Josh. He was a lumberjack from the North Woods.
I'm not sure which one's worse.
I'm gonna say Big Josh because at least Doink was creepy.
Well, Doink was funny at times. So,
And
okay.
Doink had Dink.
He did have Dink.
Who didn't love Dink?
I loved Dink.
I'll tell you who didn't love Dink was Luna
Yeah.
and Jerry Lawler.
I was gonna
But,
say Lawler, but
Yeah. But no, Big Josh, he had a decent run. He was a 1/3 of the 6-man tag champs for a bit. Got some pay-per-view victories. Got some. Then
you mean
eventually,
3-man tag teams? Because you keep saying 6-man.
well, 6-man matches,
Okay.
but they were the 6-man champions.
Okay.
I think it was him and Dustin Rhodes, and I want to say Ricky Morton, but I might be
Is
wrong.
this back
there.
when Dustin had terrible?
This is when Dustin was the natural.
Oh, okay.
It had the yellow tights and the.
This
looked like-
wasn't his cowboy gimmick days.
It's when he was looking remarkably like his dad, but taller
Okay.
and thinner.
Okay.
But yeah, so Big Josh is on there because, come on, Lumberjack. I mean, he gets points for the Bears. I liked the Bears when I was a kid.
Shouldn't he have had the manly man?
Oh, but he's a man.
Yeah, he's a man. Song.
Yes, if only Jim Johnston worked for WCW in the 1990s. All right, number 8.
Shoot.
You want cringy. Here's number 8.
Oh boy.
The Rap Master.
God.
Ian News. Couldn't rap any better than he could wrestle.
Whew.
They put this guy in a scaffold match, Minderz, on a pay-per-view with Steve Austin and Bobby Eaton. Why?
Yo, baby, yo, yo.
Barry, yeah. Barry knows.
Oh, Barry, we love you. Oh my goodness.
This
I'm
guy.
over here crying right now.
I can
'cause I'm
see that.
laughing so hard.
So bad. Couldn't cut
Oh.
a promo. Couldn't rap. It's great. Barry, you are right. Great American Bash 91. It was a tag team scaffold match. Ian News and Bobby Eaton against, I think it was Terry Taylor and Steve Austin. If you remember this better than me, please pipe
He'll
in.
tell you if he remembers.
He'll tell
'cause
me,
He's the WCW guru in our
Yeah.
group. So
Yeah. Well, let's see if he remembers this next guy, Minderz. At the same time, oh, hang on.
horrible. That's all he says. Horrible.
Not wrong.
Not wrong. Horrible.
A guy who actually feuded with Big Josh a bit. Black Blood.
Oh my God.
Played under the mask, if I remember right, by Billy Jack Haynes.
Gosh.
But they
These
made him
aren't
like this-
terrible wrestlers. They're just terrible.
No, the gimmick is just the shit. Big Axe. I think he was with another guy with Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, I'm
It's
noticing
not
a
Dungeon of-
trend.
Not Dungeon of Doom Kevin Sullivan. This is just like when Sullivan was like nuts. Like he had one-man gang and he had this guy.
Yep, that's Billy Jack.
Yep. Thank you, Barry. But yeah, just god awful. So bad. There's not enough negative pejoratives to describe how bad this gimmick was.
They're so. Oh, gosh.
And poor Jim
I've-
Ross had to put these people over as making them seem like they mattered. I don't know how he did. That's why that man is the greatest announcer of all time. 'Cause he could talk about making chicken salad out of chicken shit. That's what Jim Ross did in early 90s WCW.
Hey, yeah.
And I love Jim Ross.
I do love Jim Ross.
Heather Owens, if you're still listening to this, next year, Jim Ross, please. Let's make that happen.
Okay.
For the expo. For me.
I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying announce the show. I'm saying.
Oh, I know.
Plus, him in a panel.
That would be fun.
That would be
That
awesome.
would be a lot of fun.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
All right. We are to 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6. Another guy that was a cavalcade of bad gimmicks through his entire career.
Oh.
Norman the Lunatic.
Oh. Poor guy.
The future Bastion Booger.
Yep.
They were going to make him a mad monk. I forget his name. Friar Ferdinand or something. Friar something. Friar Ferguson. That was it.
Friar Ferguson. There you go.
But that wound up
Poor
going
guy.
away. Then Bobby Heenan. We talked about Bobby. He's the one that came up with Bastion Booger.
It's not much better.
No, the gimmick was awful. It was
terrible.
That gimmick was gross.
It was. It was.
And as I understand, in Calgary, he was a Stampede guy, and he was Makam Singh, and he was a great heel, big monster heel. But yeah, they wanted to make him a mental patient in WCW with a teddy bear, and
And then just a
oh yeah, Barry had a feud with Cactus Jack. Yeah, he did have
no.
a feud with Cactus Jack. That was Cactus's role in WCW. Let's take all the iffy gimmicks and put them with you. And then if you can do that well, we'll let you wrestle Sting.
Mm.
All right. Let's move on to number 5. Number 5, okay. Another guy. The tailor-made man. Terry Taylor.
Yeah,
The
this
Red
was
Rooster.
yeah.
Terrence Taylor in
His
the York
never got
Foundation.
any better, did it?
No.
It
But they
got
put him in...
worse.
He borrowed a suit from Ted DiBiase.
I was gonna say it looks like one of Ted's
And
suits.
slicked his hair back and decided to be Mr. Smooth, sharp-dressed man. And because, hey, his name is Taylor, we can put that into the name.
Oh,
So he's the
God.
tailor-made man. Which is... This was in like 92. So this is around Bill Watts' time, which
Yeah.
is surprising. He held the U.S. Tag Championships with Greg Valentine in this gimmick. Yes, I remember the York Foundation with Alexandra York. I didn't hate the York Foundation, to be honest with you. I did not like the tailor-made man. And judging from the picture, I don't... That's like Missy Hyatt's trying not to laugh at him here.
Right?
And the computer, yes. The old-timey laptop from 1991 was the weapon of choice for the York Foundation. Poor Terry. Terry never
Poor
caught a
Terry.
break, did he?
No, he never did. Because then he
No.
was the Red Rooster. And,
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Well, now he's a coach at the PC, so, you know, he's got that going for him.
Yeah, but he's
And
not on
as I
TV
understand,
anymore, so.
Doesn't have to be. As I understand, he's a really good coach, and he enjoys his work. So
Oh, I'm
more
sure he
power to him.
is. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure he is.
Yeah.
Especially if
great
you had to
booker,
make
though.
some of these gimmicks work. You had to
That's
be
true.
brilliant.
That's true. All right, let's go to number 4. That's our first tag team on the list, Minderz.
Okay.
Not the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
The Colossal Kongs. You can see the blonde hair. That is Harley Race. Who I don't know who Harley pissed off to have to manage these two fucking guys. King Kong and Awesome Kong were these two. Before Kia Stevens, there was an Awesome Kong on television, and it was one of these guys. I don't even know which one was which, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Bari.
Oh, shoot. Hang on.
Oh,
Yeah, not wrong.
not wrong. Not wrong at all. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the less said about the Colossal Kongs, the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome and amazing. I thought it was King Kong, Barry, but it might be amazing. Awesome and amazing were both of Kia Stevens' Kongs gimmicks. But
they were real original with the names, huh?
yeah, the less said about them, the better. But speaking of gimmicks that seem like Harley Race had heat with somebody, Super Invader. Minderz, do you know who that is under the hood?
I do not.
I know Barry knows. That is one Hercules Hernandez.
Are you serious?
That is the mighty Hercules with a red sock over his face and a Karate Kid headband on. They booked this guy as a karate master in the 92. He was Vader's heater, I guess, for all intents and purposes. And he didn't last more than a cup of coffee. Hang on. Oh, this will be good. Yep. Barry, you're correct. Hercules.
Yep. Barry
Ray
knew.
Hercules Hernandez. He knows what's up.
He does.
So, yeah, but this was so bad. And again, I like Hercules.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Hercules back in the day.
I was too.
But the Super Invader, not so much.
Yeah.
Oh, God. How the mighty have fallen. Indeed, Barry, indeed.
And we're only to number 3. Barry,
Yes.
that means this can only get worse.
Oh, and it will. Oh, it will. Oh, boy. Shall we move on to number 2, Minderz?
Let's move on to number 2.
All right. You'll remember this guy, though. And
Okay.
Barry may jump out of his seat.
Oh,
Heavy metal,
jeez.
Van Hammer. Mr. I can't wear a guitar properly on my way to the
Right.
ring. All he did was he wore the strap around his neck like a necklace, not like with his arm through like you're supposed to. And then
Yeah,
he
I
would just
remember
swing
that.
it around his neck, like make it spin around. That was his big shtick. I heard a rumor a long time ago. My brother told me that he was DDP's hairdresser, but I don't know that that's true. I like to think it is, but I don't think it's true.
Hey, Keith has joined
Hey,
us.
Keith. Hey, Keith Gibson. How's it going, buddy? One of our earliest champions on this podcast from Clubhouse Lounge Radio, and apparently a fan of Van Hammer. Who knew?
Apparently.
He chimes in, Van Hammer, one of the greatest WCW creations. Didn't Max make? He may have. I know he beat him in a guitar playing contest because Max Kane can actually play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Mountain Rock, for those that don't know. And for the record, he had a WWF shaped guitar. I wanted that guitar so bad back in the day.
Oh.
I need to find a builder who can make that happen. Keith, thank you for the kind words, my friend. And depending on what happens tomorrow, I may be in touch with you.
Wait a minute,
yeah,
our show's tomorrow. Our other show's
tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so it'll be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Van Hammer, not a great worker, not a horrendous character.
Mm-hmm.
He had hope when he was in the flock with Raven, and he gave him the net.
Everybody
t-shirt
has hope when they're in the flock, but
do you remember when he was in the Misfits in Action?
I do not.
Like the late '90s, Hugh Morris's army faction, and they all had different names.
I may have and just not realized it.
I'm going to run these names down for you.
Okay.
Hugh Morris changed his name, and they all had ranks too. It was like the army.
Oh, so okay.
Hugh Morris was General Hugh G. Rection.
Oh boy.
I can feel the wife rolling her eyes behind me right now.
You should be able to, because I can feel them, and that's a few miles away.
Yeah. Okay, but that's not all.
You
had Major Guns was the valet. She had big cans.
I do remember this. I do remember bits. I don't remember all their names, but I do remember this.
Chavo Guerrero Jr. was Lieutenant Loco. Because, Mexican.
Thanks for clarification, Mark.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's where Russo's brain goes.
Well, and then, it was Russo. What do you expect?
Then Lash LaRue. Remember Lash LaRue with the L-shaped sideburns?
Yeah.
Corporal Cajun, because he's from Louisiana.
They're so smart.
They really are. And then Barry already got it right in the comments. Van Hammer, his name was Private Stash.
Okay.
Apparently he likes the ganja.
Oh, wait, are we talking
Somebody
about
was
Barry?
Smoking something when they came up with that.
Are we talking about Barry or are we talking about Van Hammer?
Well, I don't know if Barry likes to imbibe the devil's lettuce, but I think Van Hammer was quite into it. But yeah, it's so ridiculous across the board for Van Hammer.
Terrible. I figured that would be the response.
All right. Well, that brings us to our number one, Minderz.
I'm downright scared. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna bet that Barry knows what number one is.
All right. Well, let's sit here and chat for a minute. Let's give him a chance because we run a little fast. So, Barry, what would be your number one?
And this is Jim Herd bad, by the way. Jim Herd came up with this one.
Oh no.
How do I count the ways we dislike Jim Herd? Let me count the ways. He was Sam Munchnick's buddy who ran a Pizza Hut in St. Louis and got a job running WCW, even though he had no experience.
There you go.
All right, let's see if Barry is right here. Our number one, and I don't have a drum roll sound effect. There you go. Barry had it right. The ding dong.
Barry has it right.
If I remember right, it was Ding and Dong, right? Was that their names?
Probably.
I think so. But come to the ring with bells around their wrists and they're
Oh, God.
playing finger cymbals.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
so bad. I don't think they lasted more than 2 shows, to be honest with you. Before,
And yet we still watched it.
if
We
Narj,
still watched it.
if Narj is listening to this, he's losing his mind because he loved old WCW from this time,
I d-
and he'll probably remember all of these people.
Oh, I'm sure
But
he will.
the Ding Dongs, I'm not just worst WCW gimmick from 1990 to 92. I'm going to go so far as to say I think that is the worst gimmick ever conceived for a pro wrestling company by a manager of a Pizza Hut. Bells, they had
They had bells.
yes, and once again, I think Jim Ross had to put these clowns over
Poor Jim.
with a straight face.
How?
I money talks, I guess.
I guess.
I it just I yeah. This is where I wish Gary was joining us.
Yeah, because he would have a lot more.
Barry, yeah, the Hunchback gimmick didn't make it. There was talk of having a Hunchback because the gimmick was he couldn't be pinned.
Oh God. Oh my God.
That never flew though.
Oh, I'm so glad it didn't.
I think Golga kind of had a hump, but they never really took advantage of it when trying to pin him.
Yeah.
It was also earthquake, so nobody could get him off his feet.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll notice there were no members of the Dungeon of Doom in this list. That's because that didn't happen until 1995, I believe.
See, that would have
So
probably been closer to where I really started to watch more WCW. So
I think our next top 10 Tuesday, I think, is going to be worst WCW gimmicks 1995 to 98. I think.
okay, I'll do some research.
Okay. But yeah, it's I this going over this was everything I could have hoped for, except for I wish Gary was here to partake.
He would have had
He
probably
would have had opinions.
Yeah, he would have had more opinions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried. Sorry, Gary, if I let you down.
You did marvelously, my friend, and I think this is probably a good time to call it an episode, Minderz. Before let's pay some bills as we wrap up Top 10 Tuesday. ProWrestlingTees.com/JTRPod for all of your JTR Podcast Network merchandise needs. All kinds of t-shirts on there. There's our latest one. Also, speaking of Gary,
Yep.
our Gary Says shirt, which I'm going to be getting hopefully next time I get paid. Then we got some of these, some of the original ones.
Let's see. How many of these do I actually have? Quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have as many as I thought I would.
Let's see. I have the Haas fights.
Yeah.
I've got the logo. Green? No, I don't have the red equals green. I have Ladies Love Wrestling and Life is Hard Work Stiff.
Right. I need to get that Pod Street USA shirt sometime.
Oh, there's where I have 3 of those.
Yeah, you don't have the I Heart Death matches because you don't.
Nope, I don't heart death matches. I hate death matches.
Here's our network logo here. And then we get into the 0-1 Shootout merchandise on this site, which is
I have all 4 of those.
Shirts. Yes. And then look at the left side of this one because these two I actually put on 2 different slides. Mm-hmm. This is the Japanese logo, jumping the rail in Japanese, and then the logo on the back. And
We're
then
hoping.
Wrestling Makes Me Happy. I Googled it, so it should be right.
Okay.
Because they're never wrong. And then go to pro wrestling or brainbustertees.com/other/JTR-podcast-network and get some of this good stuff here. You got the network logo here on the left. You got the JTR Army. That's I don't know how Dwayne hasn't ordered this yet, to be honest with you. Then you got the hoodie. You got some stuff for the 0-1 Shootout. We have stickers. We actually have a Jumping the Rail fanny pack available.
Yes.
We have hats. We got all kinds of cool stuff on there. So go check that out.
Beanies, face masks.
Help us keep the lights on by buying some merch. We'd appreciate it. And let's see. I think that is all.
Do you not have our other shirt on there yet?
I don't have that.
Push it at all?
Well, hang on. I got that in the other brand, I
Here,
think.
just go
Oh
here.
yeah. Well, let me hide this picture here because I always forget that. There you go. That is the new and updated 01 Shootout logo made by our friends at CP Arts, uh, where they animated both of our faces on there. It looks fantastic.
It does. It looks so good.
Yeah, and then there's another one, the Giddy Mindy shirt, which is a
You,
full-size Minderz
if you
with my
watch the
head.
podcast tomorrow,
She will be wearing that shirt,
I will
if I'm
be
not
wearing
mistaken.
that one.
Yes, and we'll be talking to the fellow who designed both those fine T-shirts.
The
One,
king.
one elite warrior, the Cobra, aka Sir.
King.
I am not going to disagree because I am not a dumb man. Uh, all right, so as we say goodbye, don't forget next Friday evening. Time to be determined. Probably 6, maybe 5. Maybe we'll go 5 till 7.
Just let me know. Yep.
Full WrestleMania coverage for the show coming up next weekend, plus highlights and memories of WrestleMania's past. It should be fun, and hopefully we'll be in full strength because the
Hopefully.
Italian Stallion will be back in full force there. In his beard will be glorious, I'm sure.
Of course.
Of course. So until next Friday on YouTube. For also big thank you to Hardcore Heather Owens for joining us today. Uh,
Yes.
if you're going to the Squared Circle Expo, look for us. We'll be there, and it's going to be a blast. We can't wait for that. And yeah, so until next Friday on YouTube for Minderz, this is Reb saying life is hard, work stiff, and we'll see you later.